Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tower of Babble podcast. As always, I am Julian and Meush. I'm joined by Jeremy Kozier.
Hello.
And we are going to be talking to you today about the latest in film and television news. It started as a bit of an impromptu episode, but we got a pretty jam-packed session here. We're going to talk about the Menendez twins and true crime as a genre.
I don't know if they're twins. They're not twins. They're just
brothers. Twins, brothers. It's a bean legume situation. We're going to talk about that bullshit that Tom Holland's up to. That's Jeremy's take on that.
You're gonna get me started.
And a whole bit on Terminator at the end. So plus a bunch of other stuff in between. So before we get into it, just quickly remind everyone, Halloween's coming up. We do a exclusive film club in October for a spooky movie. This year, we're doing The Lost Boys. I've seen it. I'm ready to record. Jeremy hasn't seen it yet, or he fell asleep. So, so it's gonna be a little bit, but we're hoping to record this weekend. And anyway, I like it. That's the long story short. You can get access to that. Hoping to have that out in the next couple of days. At patreon.com/Tower of Babblecast. $5 a month gets you access to that and everything, all the previous ones we've done. So stay tuned for that if you are a patron. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Tower of Babblecast and facebook.com/Tower of Babblecast. Head over to our website, towerbabble.ca, to find everything we're doing, including our offshoot show, Small Screen Star Wars, which is on hiatus until the next Star Wars thing, which is Skeleton Crew, which is just around the corner. But until then, no expected or scheduled episodes on that front. So that's why you get to stay here on this feed, the Tower of Babble podcast.
I did watch Monsters, the Menendez Brothers story. That was pretty good.
So I've seen bits and pieces of that, but I can't bring myself to watch stuff that's like based on a true story. I find it so much less interesting.
This one's so insane, though.
Yeah, no, but it's like I already know it's insane.
What's insane about it? What did they do?
Well, I don't know. They killed their parents, right?
Yeah. Do you know how they killed their parents?
Something crazy, like chop them up or something.
No.
Well, I don't know. Then
well, they shot them with shotguns.
Oh shit! They were serious about it.
And one of the older brothers went back to the car and reloaded and came back and shot them more. That's their own mother and father in their study room with all their books and the room that all four of them would hang out.
That's what they said.
Yeah, then there's they've been in jail, I think, each for 35 years, and there was the famous trial before the OJ one, I guess, like a Hollywood trial. Where there was a mistrial the first one, and then it went to another one because they basically brought forth sexual abuse allegations on the dad, a lot of crazy shit, and even the older brother molested the younger brother at one point from his exposure to his dad. But then there's some people who are thinking that maybe that stuff is made up or whatever, and then it was the juries could just never decide on the death penalty or some sort of other forms of a defense murder, because they were basically they thought their parents were going to kill them at some point as well. But then it's all these narratives on is that a made up narrative? Is it not? And then it's up to you to there's a documentary too, a brand new documentary. I think it's an hour and a half.
See, yeah, okay. Let me explain.
And it's crazy to show the real people, and then I'm and then I went back and forth for just a moment because I wanted to see what the deal was. And I just couldn't believe how good the casting was. And then just the cinematic nature kind of over top of the whole thing. And just how it just felt super cool, even though it's such a crazy scenario.
It was very slick from what I saw.
It's it's almost like David Fincher's Social Network, kind of just this.
Oh, really?
Just dark.
That's pretty high praise.
Yeah, man. I was enthralled. The music, the acting is spectacular.
It's 80s music, right? Because it's
you have Milli Vanilli, which is crazy because those are two brothers who were who were kind of caught for lip syncing or whatever, singing or whatever.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah, like
no one really gives a shit about that anymore.
Yeah, it just has that 80s vibe, that Miami Vice kind of vibe a little bit, and then just kind of like rich, like old school rich Hollywood, and like how much money those families had and what they did with them, and then like what that dad was all about, and then all the testimonies and family members saying that the kids kind of came out like when they're kids, but nothing really came about it. The mom like kind of knew that the dad would touch them or like shower with them. Like some really dark, heinous, crazy, like crazy shit ever, to the point where you haven't even watched it or don't know too much about it, but you can probably see that people are like, yeah, free the Menendez brothers. Like it's like that kind of mind shift.
Wait, that's wild. So they did do these things, but people think they should.
Yeah, they were literally in the 90s. They literally had 2 trials. They murdered their parents with shotguns. Then went around town trying to buy a movie ticket to like have an alibi, or just like they were somewhere else, and then they go back and they make the 911 call. So you get to see in this monster show and reenactment of that, and he's like, "Oh my God, they're dead," and like they brother screaming in the background. But then as the viewer and just as like the history, you don't that they how do they go about this? And then for like 3 months, they weren't even suspects. Police arrived at the scene. They weren't even thought about as being suspects. They were buying Lamborghinis, Rolexes, living it up, trying to fill a void. And then one of them confessed to murdering the parents to his shrink, and then roped the shrink into it. And the shrink told a girl that he was dating secretly, cheating with, that was a patient of his. And then she's the one that ended up kind of leaking all of this to the police.
Hey, here's a question for you, Jeremy. What? If someone came to you with this kind of information, someone told me they murdered their parents and got away with it. Yeah. What do you do?
Well, what do you do if you are a shrink, right? Because it's a confidentiality thing you can't do. So he went along with that, but he decided to help them and heal them. But he said, we're going to record the sessions. So eventually I think he was trying to crack the case maybe on his own.
Well, I think there are exceptions can be made about like patient confidentiality can be breached under certain circumstances.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But this one, it seemed like he had to kind of cover his basis and build some sort of a case where he got them on recordings. But he ended up telling this weird chick about this, and then she got unhappy because he wasn't going to leave his current wife for her. So she went to the police. And
there's a different like whole love triangle story on the side.
Yeah, that the lady through jealousy trounced him, and then got them in Menendez Brothers like basically caught for admitting murder because he recorded the tapes and they used those tapes, even though they've been
in jail.
And then they go to trial, then jail because they're mistrial. Then they're found guilty, but they don't want to sentence. They should be sentenced to death, but they don't. The juror, they at least agree to that.
So now they live life in prison now.
Yes, and like this show is just incredible. Essentially, like just the way it's shot, edited, time sequences. Javier Bardem is the dad.
It looks very expensive.
Dude,
I will say.
Yeah, I can't believe how good it is for all the trash you've been talking about Netflix. Essentially,
yeah, Netflix has been shit, but maybe this is them trying to finally figure themselves out.
Hour-long episodes, and they just flow nicely into one another. And like the acting is just insane. Like the amount of trauma that the one brother has to exude when he's like just trying to hide it or let it go, or like it's just insane.
Have you been watching this with Taryn? And like you guys,
she watched a few, but then I just kind of was like, I'm just gonna
finish this. Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna get to this quick. And then I did 2 episodes. Like it's pretty good. And then I was falling in love with the music choices from the 80s, and then even the original score, which is also very Social Network-esque, which has that really amazing score by Trent Reznor there. Atticus Ross, I believe, right? Those two, or was it just Trent?
It was both. I think it's both. They're both. They'll be back for.
There's like
Tron
that
Aries.
super like eerie like song in Social Network, right? Where it's just like it's building, then it has like the somber piano notes in between.
It's like one string note played forever, and it's just getting like
it just
more.
It's anxiety inducing. It's like, oh my
100%.
goodness, like things are shifting. And there's like a cool one in this one where I think the song is literally called Hum, and it's like almost like a choir or like a few people just kind of like singing hum, but like very dramatically.
Right.
And that repeats every now and then you just really question, like, did these kids actually get abused? It seems there's evidence that points towards it. There's some that points against it, but like some of it's just so damning. It's like, yeah,
and then is it do they explore whether or not?
Well, the dad threatened to kill the dad. The dad threatened to kill them many occasions on if they didn't keep their secrets of the.
So is that used as a defense for them? Like, hey,
so yeah, that's what the defense is. It's not it was self-defense, but they call it something else. Because
like
it wasn't
preemptive
like
self-defense,
something like that. Different word though, which is it's very funny and kind of interesting the term. Where it's like they just felt they were exposed to such vile like upbringing and like a way of life, like literally being raped by their dad. Like
that is,
you know what I mean? Like it just
is crazy. That
like you have to just be like they were raped multiple times by their own father, and like just and then one of the brothers is bald, and the dad made him get hooks implanted into his scalp, and the toupee hooks on. Yeah. And then you can look at the documentary, you can see it. It's like, yeah, that's just like a weird bang, like toupee thing.
Those are for toupees. They're installed so you can put it at.
Yeah, because he wanted his kid to be like a star tennis player. Like he wanted to control all that, right? Like moving forward, deciding what everyone does.
Oh, just like that.
He was and it's Javier Bardem. So it's almost like this really fun, villainous take he gets to do. That's like, it kind of just, you're not thinking of like, No Country for Old Men, like per se, but I am like in terms of like the darkness he's portraying and like how much fun he's having with how dark it is though, and it's like you just kind of quite like what is the actual truth, and like and then you watch the documentary and it's like, yeah, like there's so much.
So you watched the documentary also?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Jeremy, it's fun. I think it sounds like the show is great, and I'm glad that you really enjoyed it, but it's like sometimes you're like, I haven't watched anything and it's been like 2 months, but then something like this happens and you like dive down on like a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's just so well made, and it's such an iconic story that I knew nothing about, because O.J. Simpson kind of owns the 90s, right? Like everyone knows about the white Bronco and all that stuff. And then we even had a cool recreation of that with what's his name?
Oh yeah, that was
Cuba Gooding Jr.
last year. You mean like
that was longer ago?
2 years, a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. And anyway, and also
that's a movie.
Yeah. Also, what this feels it's from the makers of Dahmer, the show.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. Okay.
So it's like this glorifying of like murderers or whatever, which you're probably not feeling or something.
I hate it. It's not it's not that I'm into the glorification. I don't think that's even what they're doing. I don't think that's what they're doing.
Well, with Dahmer kind of was. There was like some victim families kind of didn't feel, they just, because he killed so many people, and like they were making him, it's not like an anti-hero situation. It's just like, look how like tormented this guy is. And it's like,
right,
a good looking guy like Quicksilver or whatever from the X-Men movies.
Oh,
I never watched it.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, I don't think that portraying something on film necessarily means you're condoning those things. I think those things are different. But I think you need to be aware of what you're portraying. For me, the turnoff isn't that it's glorifying like real world tragedies, though it is to some extent. It's that like I get enough of the real world tragedies in the real world. I just don't need more of that in my life. You know what I mean?
Sure. But then it's like, just think about the question. They bursted into their parents in their like flat like rec room.
Yeah, truth is stranger
in the middle of the night.
Make this up
in the middle of the night and blasted them with shotguns. And like the details are in both shows, the documentary and the show.
So was it
the mom's hand,
like pre-planned?
Yeah, they're like, they just decided they're done with the abuse and they're gonna buy guns and they're gonna kill them.
But like, The idea of
then for
buying
3
shotguns
months,
is so funny.
and then for 3 months, they got the inheritance and they lived in the same house that they killed their parents in, and no one thought they were the killers. And then it slowly came out because they couldn't live with themselves, essentially. It's the one who admitted it to the shrink. And then the shrink's secret affair lady spilled the beans to the police, and they had enough through that story to just get everything from the shrink and then go to trial. And then we're doing a trial for the murder of these parents who the kids basically we murdered them, but they're trying to
But here's why we murdered them.
But it's also like the trial happened like so many decades too early in terms of like people believing victims.
Yeah, but like the court of public opinion isn't supposed to really matter. It's like it's for the jurors and the judge to decide.
Yeah, but that bleeds into the jurors because it was like the story that you see in the documentaries that the female jurors were like they all saw like the men were all on like the same level of thinking in terms of like no real like thought into like the raping.
They like disregard the raping as like who cares?
Yeah, like they don't even they just have a hard time believing that, like, because that's something like it wasn't like a thing that they have any experience with or like a thought.
Right.
It's just like a weird thing. I don't know.
Like the dad raping the sons.
Yeah.
Hey, and then the women couldn't like wrap their head around that.
No, the males just didn't think that was true or happening. It was like unanimous amongst them.
But the women are like, it probably happened.
Yeah, and they need to pay attention to that and move forward with that thought process in mind, which is now.
Well, yeah, but that's true. That's something that happened at a trial. What I'm saying is just like, who cares what we all think about what they did? Ultimately, it's like, were they given a fair trial or not? And
clearly, it's probably not. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Between both of them, like,
it's just so unbelievably fascinating. But I just come down on like, it's been 35 years. They were sentenced to life in prison without the ability of parole. Yeah, so it's like, geez Louise, and it's been 35 years, and there's been nothing but good stories about the kids at one point in time, and now they're in their 60s, and it's like. If you examine all the details of this case and you see this show that people wanted to make to show you a side or whatever, it's like, man, like, can this be re-examined? Like, if this did happen, the abuse from the parents, the mom included,
but how could you prove it now?
It's something
differently than you could before.
Yeah, no, for sure. There is no trial. It's already done. It's just fascinating that, like, if you view it yourself, this is why it was made, because it's a clear example of like not everything was correctly done in this scenario.
So you think the show is made to vindicate them?
Oh yeah, but then not really. There's moments where it's like, the older brother like said some weird shit to his girlfriend about like how he deserves an Oscar for like how he said something on the stand. So like there's all these weird things, right?
Like what? Okay, so if you said the word fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think that is the reason that like these shows are extremely popular? Like when like the true crime show as a genre is like massively popular. Why is that?
Because true shit, dude. This never happened before. Parents or children with rich parents just blasting them away with shotguns. It just never in the Hollywood Hills.
Does it happen? Has it happened since?
No, which is probably one of the reasons why like they were sentenced, to that severity as well.
So it's a novel thing no matter when.
And then I can't remember for sure, but also, okay, so this is why it's also fascinating. It's kind of like that Straight Outta Compton movie, and that the vibe that it had.
Love that movie.
With the connective tissue in terms of the other like real life people, like the Tupac cameo or or even just Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, and like just seeing them fully realized, and then knowing these connective like other major artists and stories like Eminem, later on. So
like the lineage of it.
Yeah. So like they have that within this because they talk about like OJ and like that whole thing and like how that took shine away from them, or like because he was exonerated, it's almost like
like how the macro perspective was like at this time, celebrity trials were going like this, and that affected like how people felt. So like it's this like it's not just the crime, it's not just the trial, it's not even just the people at the trial. It's like how society thinking about, you know, patricide, whatever.
Right, and it's cool because it shows you. Time. It shows because like the Menendez brothers are almost like they're like mini celebrities and they have like a following, and they're like kind of aware of it. Specifically, one brother, and then you kind of go through this journey where like the torch is like passed on to OJ because his trial happens shortly after, and like they even run into each other in like the jail, and like you don't ever see an actor, you just hear him talk through like the wall or whatever. So it has that kind of like that funny, connective, like real life characters that makes it like more grander or like a really like a fly on the wall, like in these crazy scenarios that you never would have like seen coming.
So do you think my perspective is dumb, or am I a coward, or like?
No, like I don't watch. I don't.
Doesn't interest me at all. You're going.
Doesn't. You. I'm not. I don't watch true crime like religiously. I
know that.
I just tapped into this because I heard that these brothers murdered their parents with shotguns and were living it up for like 4 months.
And you're like, well, I got to hear about that. Someone's got to. I need to know more about that.
And then Javier Bardem is the dad, and then like the two young actors they cast are just brilliant. The music, the stylistic choices, like I said, the Social Network vibes, the music, it being a real story.
So you're pro Netflix on this scenario.
Well, like you said though, like it looks so good. It looks like it's so like rich.
It's really well made.
There's no reason for you to even be questioning if I'm giving my praise.
Yes, like I'm sure it's good. Like I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it is. But like, are you watching The Penguin? Because The Penguin is amazing. Best show on TV right now is The Penguin. That's the. So, okay.
What's his name? Did not want to be a part of it because it had violence against women. So you have been recasted.
Okay, no, I was just talking about this on Twitter today. Like
Anthony did not. That's not good.
It makes no sense.
It's a blemish.
It makes no sense because he played the character already in the Batman, and like that version of the character certainly committed violence against women. Like we literally see it on screen. He literally acts it on screen.
So he's a hypocrite.
So it's like, it just like it just sounds stupid to say that. It just sounds like you're a hypocrite or sanctimonious. Like, oh, look at me, I care about women, but like, man, you did it already. And again,
maybe it's more severe in the show.
I don't, not from what I've seen so far. I don't think not at all. In fact,
okay.
But like, as we said before, I don't think betrayal of something necessarily means you can be an actor and you can act as a bad guy, right? But that doesn't make them a bad guy. You know, like I know that people get this confused sometimes, like oh, actors getting hate mail because like who played that little brat in Harry Potter, Malfoy, right? Getting hate mail because they think that like he's actually Malfoy or something stupid. Like you're like, oh, you're Joffrey in Game of Thrones. That actor was like, man, all I get is hate mail all the time. People think I'm just like this piece of shit, right? It's like, no, he's just an actor doing a really good job playing a piece of shit, you know? So it's the original story on that, like, was that he couldn't do it because of a scheduling conflict. He didn't have to say any more information. That's fine. Okay, fine. They had to make the show. He couldn't do it. He was doing something else. So they got Mark Strong to do it. And Mark Strong was pretty good. I like, you know me, I fucking love Mark Strong. So it's like not even a big deal.
Everyone does. He's good in everything.
But I will say, you know, it's missing the touch.
I will say, where's Commissioner Gordon? Where's Batman? Where is everybody?
Well, the commissioner of the police.
Where are they at?
The Batman is in the movie, is in the show. But here's the thing: what's so good about the show is that it makes you not care about that stuff. And I also think that there's been some stories going around about how while they were making the show, they didn't want to consult, and this is true with the Joker too. That they're like, not interested in consulting necessarily with DC around like the lore of the characters and that kind of stuff. But I'd argue, and by the way, it is a really good like double pairing with Joker 2. They're both like pretty nihilistic in in a similar way. But they the Penguin specifically does understand the lore. It's playing with it in like a really interesting way that if it was Lord of the Rings, everyone
I don't
would
need to be convinced. I just think it's funny that's like, where is everybody else? And like, yeah, I'm sure it's good.
Like the way, so in the comic books,
you're not even gonna get a sequel to Batman until 2026 or 7 probably. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, everything takes forever to make now. It sucks. It's the new normal. Really. Everything takes a million years to make.
Like Fantastic Four and Superman, that like it's like a year or whatever.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
And then,
I'm more on the team
don't get me
side.
started on this Tom Holland Spider-Man stuff.
Okay, well, let me finish the thing. We'll come to that. We'll get back to that. Okay. So again, like they are doing this really very well done mob show, and it's like it's more mob show than comic book show. It's more Sopranos than it is the Batman, but because it's using these characters that you're familiar with, like the Maronis and the Falcones, and Penguin, as this like origin story for Penguin, and then obviously you have like these great performance for basically everybody. Like the stuff that you're seeing is like truly top notch. Like Colin Farrell's, he was great in the Batman. He continues to be great here, but like it's gripping. This is like, we're going to talk about this, Jeremy. Sometimes we're like, these studios would do themselves a favor by just like having more people in a room having a conversation, just more character work. And it is like wall to wall that in this, the drapes are Batman and Gotham, but the story is personal to these people and you care about these people. You learn to care about the Penguin, even though you see him do terrible shit over and over and over again. He truly is a piece of shit, right? And then you're just like, oh, maybe, and then you're like, maybe I kind of hate him now. But then like you get performances by like Kristen Milioti playing Sophia Falcone, who is just stealing the show. She's arguably the main character and probably putting in the best performance. So, we get these long extended flashbacks into their version of Arkham Asylum. There are hints at larger Batman mythology, but it's like it's not really important necessarily. But you can see there being like a bigger quote unquote picture here, right? That Batman fits into. You see his presence is a little ominous because you see Wayne Tower a lot in the background. They do a good job of like making Gotham feel, you used to joke about how like the show Gotham, which was kind of shitty, had a really good like portrayal of the city itself. This is similar to that. Obviously, we've seen it portrayed in the Batman, but they do a really good job of continuing that vibe, that look. I'm pretty sure it's shot in Toronto. So, it's so good, Jeremy. Eventually, you should see it, and like it will make a really great addition to. And it feels like very much to the trilogy, but it also will. It feels like really unique in the fact that we rarely, I feel like, get these like spin-off shows from a movie that are good at all. Never mind this good. That feel like they fit well into the.
And then it's story. The Penguin, which like is so crazy because like, what do we have? It's like we have Danny DeVito and like just like the kind of cheesy version of the villain, and it's like it's cool just to see him realize in that like kind of realistic, gritty kind of
the mobster way. He idolizes. He's basically like a kid who watched The Godfather and was like, I want to be that, and he like spends his life pursuing that at all costs. Like he'll throw anyone under the bus to make that happen. And it's because of that, it's so surprising. Like you're never sure. Each episode like ends with like this big moment. You're like, I did not see that coming. and then they twist you around left and right every episode. It's great. I really can't speak higher of this. And like, I know Colin Farrell's like, he feels like he's kind of done with it or whatever, and who knows how this all ends, but like he apparently hated putting on the makeup, and it's like it's one thing to do it for a couple scenes in the Batman, but it's another thing to do it as like the main character of a whole show. And that would be miserable, hours in makeup every single day to put on this suit, right? And then wear this fat suit around. And meanwhile, like Colin Farrell is one of like the thinnest, most fit people in the world. But like he disappears into this is one of those examples where, Jeremy, I talk about this sometimes where I like can't not see just Tom Cruise or Will Smith, right? Or Brad Pitt. These actors have a really hard time disappearing into roles. It happens occasionally if they like figure out some way to like make them feel more like an actual real person. But this is an example where, yes, because of makeup and a lot of like an accent work and all that stuff, he literally looks and sounds nothing like Colin Farrell. But it's like it's fascinating to like just see that's the Penguin. It's not Colin Farrell. That's the Penguin. The Penguin, that's not a real person. But the character is interesting because they're portrayed so well. It's also very violent, which is not like I'm saying is like a bonus or a plus, but like it certainly again fits into the what we see in the Batman. So they changed the name, or they announced like the official name for the Batman Matt Reeves saga. Did you hear what this was?
It's just part 2.
No, so it will be called the Batman Part 2, but the like it's like it's not calling it the MCU or whatever. Like it's their tag for their little universe. It's called the Batman Epic Crime Saga.
Oh,
you didn't hear that? It doesn't even really have a good like acronym. I feel like this happens every time you try to force like something like the MCU which was organic, right? And even the DCU.
Don't get me started on Tom Holland and Spider-Man 4.
Just okay, yeah, okay. So you think he's full of shit, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like did you not watch the podcast?
I didn't have a chance.
Like a long time ago, he appeared on a podcast and like it went pretty viral where Tom Holland was talking about Hollywood and the business and how he actually kind of hates it, but he's obviously super like appreciative of working there. He loves making movies, but he just hates like kind of like that crazy business, like show business, not show friends type of
right
thing behind the scenes. And so it was kind of like a cool, and then again, how he has had problems with alcoholism and like he just really kept his circle close and his family and like taking the right advice on like how to just kind of approach his career moving forward, being still so young. So it's just a cool like kind of insight on like him as a man, I guess, and like his character and like his choices. So then then for me, fast forward from my perspective, he has this like release on a podcast where he's just talking about how like Spider-Man is so important to him. And it's very clear that through what he's saying, basically like he has more say now in the character and decisions. And he's basically saying, giving the feedback basically that he's not he's not 100% committed to going forward right now because it's not quite cracked. Like that's essentially what he was saying.
Well, like not committed to like reappearing as Spider-Man at all.
No, he's it needs to make sense. The story needs to be there. It can't.
But he's saying like, I love the character, but I'm not ready to say that I'm coming back for Spider-Man 4 until
he wasn't answering it in that way. He was just saying where they are right now. You feel like that's what was
implied?
Yeah, he's saying where they are right now is like he has trepidation moving forward with not like he's going to be Spider-Man no matter what, but he's letting everybody know in that podcast that like it's not all like perfect right now. And then a week later, he shows up on Jimmy Kimmel, and what is the announcement?
I'm coming back for Spider-Man 4 and we're shooting next summer.
Yeah, we're shooting a year from now.
Yeah.
A year from now? He's like, we're all ready to go. It's like, no, you still have plenty of pre-production to do. It's not all ready to go. He was literally saying it's all ready to go. We're all, yep. And then it was just, they get up and hug, dude. And then it's like over. The segment on Jimmy Fallon Jimmy
Kimmel's on ABC, right?
Yeah, sorry. It was Jimmy Fallon. So from my perspective, it's just a quick little, because like to me, when I saw that podcast, I'm like, I I don't know if you should be speaking that kind of candidly on like where you guys are at and like your level of commitment.
He's always had loose lips though.
Yeah,
right?
I know, but it was almost like a joke. I think they played on that and like they made like fake videos where like he like teased this or teased that. I think they leaned into it.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like he was just speaking very honestly about his love of the character and how he's super appreciative that he's like kind of in the mix now and he's in boardrooms where like he's talking about how like they shoot that idea off and we have this idea and like I'm getting used to being told no. Like
he wants to be a producer.
Yeah, like he's like it's crazy how like the producing level, like what goes into it. And he's basically acting like that even as well as the main character in the movie. So he's just kind of just letting everybody know, get in on the process of like
he's like, listen,
how the movie is right now.
Boss now, right?
Because like we always know movies, they don't just like they announce them, but then fluid. It's like it's a whole period of like different creatives or like, oh, maybe this doesn't quite work. You know,
there's a script and then the script gets changed.
And we know that, and that's all good. We know that's all good. But Tom Holland came out of nowhere and spoke a lot of details on like just a little bit of weariness to it.
Like you think it's like you feel like you saw it behind the kimono or whatever the saying.
No, I was just like I'm like, okay, they're just not really going to make Spider-Man 4 right away. That's literally what I thought. And I was like, wait, why is he divulging that though? And then a week later. It's this crazy reveal.
So what's your conspiracy theory?
No, my conspiracy theory is that like no matter what he signed on to the movie, he's got to do it. He shouldn't have showboated and say that like, you know, if he's not happy with this, then they're not going to do it.
Oh, you think that was Disney like?
Yeah. They're like, no, because like I said, then you let that podcast linger and then TikToks are made out of it and sound bites made out of it. And then Blade's out of the thing indefinitely.
Oh, yeah. That's a crazy thing. We'll talk about that.
And then I'm just saying, like a week later, he appears on Jimmy Fallon to announce that he's coming back for Spider-Man 4. And that was it. There was no tease of a villain. There was no, like, there's so much in motion for Marvel in terms of Secret Wars and the Doomsday, obviously, with Robert Downey Jr. It just, and like Tom Holland's obviously coming back and playing a role in that. You know, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, like the Spider-Man are most likely going to be back.
What? No, that's so dumb to do that. I'm mad.
No, it's not.
You made me mad.
Okay, just chill. We're talking about MCU. We're talking about Avengers. We're talking about the legacy of Sony, Kevin Feige, X-Men. Okay, we're
talking about Spider-Man.
We're talking about Secret Wars for the MCU. Secret Wars was this major thing for Marvel as comics. So the Secret Wars of Kevin Feige's MCU is going to involve a lot of history.
Yes, it's true. It's going to have it's going to have all the Marvel stuff. It's going to have all the X-Men stuff. It's going to have all of the Spider-Man stuff. Everything that was Marvel.
It'll be the bookend of the multiverse type kind of explosion, which is it's very hard. And that's also what Tom Holland was kind of going over is the balance between his version of the character and the development of that character and what they need to say, like the typical things of like an artist always like what they're striving for. They don't want to just do something for a paycheck. Those were kind of the notions going into his thought.
Well, I mean, he can feel that way.
Oh, totally. That's why I was
huge or whatever.
Yeah. Like I just love how I'm like, I thought it was like, I was like, what? Like a week later, he's just on Jimmy Fallon. And I just thought it was so simple and just
like he was like selling out a little bit. Like
no, it's part of the, like I said, you can't let those words of his linger, and then with other things about like Blade not on the cards, it's probably
it's just a PR move.
Yeah, it's just like no, like everyone chill, like Spider-Man's coming, like it is coming. He did say that. I don't think
I ever doubted that Spider-Man would be coming. Like you know what I mean? Like,
but we got an announcement out of nowhere. I remember
seeing those quotes and thinking, actually, I remember seeing those quotes that Tom Holland said because that was like you said like a week ago, and so I saw it on Twitter, and it was like I was like, oh. I respect that decision to be like, but at the same time, on the other side of that coin, it's like, how many times have you heard someone say, well, yeah, I'd consider coming to that role, but it'd have to be the right thing. And then
I think we're hearing that now more than ever. And then also, which
it feels
Andrew,
like
Andrew Garfield is on a press tour for his movie. I forget the title of it, but and he's doing tons of interviews, and he was also questioned about Spider-Man, and he has that kind of notorious, famous, interview where he has to kind of play dumb or whatever because there was that leaked set photo for No Way Home, and he was like just under such magnifying glass, and then he is so funny, and like when he talks about it afterwards, like how he had to like kind of lock that in, and like he had no idea how to lie, so he just kind of did whatever.
He didn't know he's an actor, but he doesn't know how to lie.
Yeah, like it's tough. I mean, you can't just like act like it's. I don't know. I like to think that they're just people. They're not just like these psychopaths that just.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that actors are psychopaths.
Chameleon themselves whenever they want.
The idea that you can't use your acting ability to lie sounds like a lie in and of itself. Yeah,
but he no, I don't know. I think he was using an ability, and it was good. But like.
I remember seeing.
Now we know that because now we know that he was lying.
Yeah,
but it was like it wasn't like
through it. But at the time, it felt really genuine. Yeah,
but it felt genuine. It wasn't like a harsh lie. Like it was like it was really open ended almost, without being like super open ended. But yeah, and he was asked about Spider-Man, and he kind of said like, yeah, like they're. I don't know. You should look it up. It's like a super funny clip where he just kind of tries to get into the head of the interviewer. He's like, yeah, of course you'd ask me about that. And like, yeah,
maybe want to know
maybe Andrew Garfield would, have some questions about what his next Spider-Man appearance would be. And like, yeah, it all kind of, it makes sense or whatever. So I love that like tradition of him with the Spider-Man role, and just like
being like, no, it's like, it's not happening. It's not happening. And then you just appear. Yeah, I get it. It's fun. Yeah. I mean, I guess like here's what I'll say, which is, again, it's like, I only want to do it again if it's for the right like story, or if they back up enough money to buy a house or whatever. But like, so I kind of like don't really care. It feels like that sounds cynical, but like it's because again, it's that show business side of the world. It's like if it was just for the art, we would have all sorts of different. The world of movies would be very different. But no, it's a business, so we get the stuff that we get because they think they can sell it. But so yeah, cynical, whatever. But Spider-Man specifically, like the way that Spider-Man 3 ends, No Way Home ends, right? Is this like world where no one knows who Spider-Man is anymore, or like no one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. It felt like this clean slate. So to go back to this multiverse concept for Spider-Man specifically feels like a reactionary move by Marvel at a time where I think they feel very vulnerable.
That is my sense of what Tom Holland said on the podcast, was the balance between that. Like, does he want to jump into a big multiversal Spider-Man again when he needs to look back on his legacy as the character, and him being a fan of the character and dressing up as the character, and like,
like let's do some classic Spider-Man stuff.
He wants to put his stamp. That's not just the Iron Man Jr., No Way Home trilogy. It's just like, because like we don't have, like, our bias, I guess, is towards Tobey Maguire. Like, we just have that, like, that's just there no matter what, because we grew up with him, right?
Yeah. I still can I be honest with you about Tobey Maguire? I still look at him and I think he doesn't look anything like Spider-Man to me. Like, that's I know that he is Spider-Man.
Yeah, but like your take,
but like
is,
it just never
like,
worked.
Like, it's so wrong, because
I know it's the wrong
take, because the animated show did it wrong. They made this huge muscular man.
Yeah. But that's why you're right. It's why the 90s show tainted me.
Yeah, no, we're on the wrong end of that. So I just love the casting choice and the
Isn't that
nerdiness.
Funny, Jeremy?
What's that?
Like the idea that like X-Men, the animated series, shaped our understanding of the X-Men in a positive light.
Yeah, but that one was.
I'm not saying Spider-Man
taking account of the comics. Same with Spider-Man, but except for the Peter Parker nature, but not necessarily, because the way he was drawn in the comics was also like
pretty muscular. The 90s,
yeah, like, because he is jacked. It's just
you have to be jacked to be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I feel like but I feel like more like
Maguire nails it in the first one when they do that transition, when he doesn't need the glasses anymore and he's jacked and he's looking in the mirror and he's like feeling himself.
You're right. I'm just thinking it's funny that those two, your perception given by the 90s show can
And then
flavor our opinions now.
And then
so
it's
much
also a thing where it's like the James Bond of it all, but like James Bond has it where it's like there's just so many guys, so it's just like.
Well, there's been like I think there's almost been as many Spider-Man as there's been James Bonds at this point, live action at least. And if you include,
what do you mean?
Well, there's been 3 already, right? Yeah,
yeah. And there's been how many James Bonds?
5 Bonds. So it's not like there's been
I think
so
there's
many.
Been more than 5.
I don't think so, man.
Name them:
Dalton, Brosnan, Craig. I'm missing the obvious one.
Sean Connery, Roger Moore.
Sean Connery and Roger Moore. And I said Timothy Dalton already, didn't I? So 5 or 6.
5 or 6. So that that's fine. Yeah, well, I bring it up because it is similar, but there's so many of the Bonds, and it's almost like we're at a point where Tom Holland has this like build up of these versions before him to where it's like, oh, he needs to be perfect now, and like we got to nail this and this one was missing. But then the movies almost celebrate the differences with them with No Way Home, which is super cool.
Well, especially, I feel like the second one especially feels like the least like a Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean? The one with Mysterio, which is the most Spider-Man of like all the villains.
Yeah, see, I would disagree because to me it just seems like a classic tale of a Spider-Man in high school or whatever dealing with
on vacation
villains.
On vacation.
Yeah, the vacation's weird, but like whatever. You're changing the setting. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also got that weird costume where he's like all in black and stuff.
That's the third one.
No. He's got like a spider creep or whatever costume.
Oh yeah, that one. No, that one's like it's like Inside Out or something. It's like the inside.
Yeah, I know, but it's like the whole thing is like there's just it's a lot of like.
Yeah, I give them props for trying like quirky things like that because I think certain things like that like kind of worked in like 80s movies and stuff because like that is like some of the stuff they're trying to like borrow from like
a more like genuine funness.
Yeah, like Back to the Future. Like Tom Holland wants to be like the Michael J. Fox, right? Of his era, of a generation type thing.
Well,
but evolved.
He's going to need to start picking better roles. To like, I'm just looking at.
Well, and then another news tidbit that came out is that he's been casting Christopher Nolan's next movie.
Well, wow, what? That's a get.
That's an official announcement everywhere. He confirmed it. Variety. Yeah, he did a screen test, and then it's with someone else.
So here's the thing. Again, this all feels very strategic, right?
Well,
it's
like, because
I need to revive my career.
Well, yeah. Well, he was doing some other little side movies or whatever, right? They kind of, like came and went. Uncharted was a moderate success, probably getting a sequel. But Spider-Man is that thing where it's like you're just going to keep doing that. But then he was just so like. He was up until this week. He was just like, I hold this character very dear. I have more say. We got to get it right. To like, yeah, we're just going to do it. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we've exhausted this conversation. But.
Well, we haven't talked about Blade yet. So
that's just removed. That's fine. There's too many.
Yeah, okay, but it's been after 2 different directors and like 4 different writers and like 2 different producers.
There's only one Blade, and there's only ever going to be one Blade. Brand new meme.
Okay, I'll give you props because that's like a really well executed like dropping of that line. I'll give you that. Yeah. That's good. But no, I mean, did you not want it? Like, I guess, did you ever care about Mahershala?
Honestly, no, yeah, Mahershala Ali. Very cool, like new modern actor.
Yeah,
he's done a lot of roles, a lot of versatility. Very cool.
Green Book.
He really reached out.
Solid movie.
Sorry, he reached out to Feige for the role of Blade, which is so fascinating. And for Marvel and Kevin Feige to just say yes, like we're going to do that, is so cool. Because usually it's the studio and their creative minds, they come up with casting choices and interesting ideas. But this was a kind of a meeting of 2 great minds.
Hey, we live in a different world now because.
But then that shows you that like, okay, let's make it happen. And then they couldn't find someone or they couldn't find someone with enough passion to figure out a script or a story, and it got shoved around, and then that's just not good for business.
So do you genuinely think that they like just like were banging their head against a wall? We can't figure
there's
out how to
also
do it.
ties to Beau DeMayo of X-Men 97 fame. And
Right.
because I believe he wrote for some Disney Plus shows or certain episodes, or I think he pitched a Blade. And then he even talks, I don't know what I don't remember the details, but he talks about the Blade story and the pitch and what they thought of it and where he thinks they're going to go and all
Okay,
these things.
okay, just for a second, was the Beau DeMayo situation resolved, or is it still kind of a question mark?
I think it's still somewhat ongoing with like lawyers, I think maybe.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Remember when he posted that thing? He's like, I'm going to reveal everything that happened on my
it was
OnlyFans
just his version of the story for sure.
I just think it's a really bold decision. I'm not necessarily saying it's good or bad. It does feel like a bad decision though.
To get rid of him?
To do it. No, well, to put it behind a paywall like that. I don't know. That feels weird.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, obviously put out, especially get ahead of it. Like, put out your side of the story. That being said, it certainly gives Disney a lot of power.
Well, no, I think it was just legal things because he's kind of living in a weird zone where like X-Men 97 is premiering week to week. He's the showrunner and creative force.
Right. Talking about it.
And
publicly.
He's allowed to talk about publicly. Why would he all of a sudden engage in that conversation that needs to be happened later? I think it was handled brilliantly because I didn't engage with him personally on Twitter, but I saw the posts.
Right.
I appreciated them. I even did some of the homework or the research to kind of get ready for some of the
prescribed
episodes.
homework. Yeah.
And like every other comment was like, what happened? Such a travesty. I can't wait till we hear more. It's like, that was just the timing that had to happen. Like, I think he handled it pretty well.
I mean, because like he ignored those questions basically.
Yes.
He'd occasionally answer, be like, "Oh, I can't talk about it" or whatever. But
in time,
I guess like ultimately, it does feel very weird still, right?
Oh, 100%. But there isn't like there's employees or whatever who are still there who are like corroborating. Like,
well, we get some. We got what I heard was that
there's an internal investigation, right? The same shit with like any other like.
So he's saying he's in limbo. Firing. He's saying this could come back and they'll be like, okay, it turns out he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely seems like he's confident that like not that he'll get his job back, but like that the record will just be set straight. Like,
well, if that's true, why wouldn't he get his job back? If he's like, if it turns out what they said or accusing him,
well, maybe he doesn't want to work with the people. True. Maybe he doesn't work with the people who are making these decisions. Who knows?
Yeah,
there's obviously personal stuff in all workplaces. It doesn't exclude Marvel or Disney. So
that's true. But it is when it's this public, it's very different.
Yeah.
I feel like.
But yeah, anyways, he has some good insight on the whole Blade thing, which is cool. Because I think he even talked about his pitch on what he would do, and it sounded pretty entertaining. And it's almost like, why even say these things on Twitter? Because it's like people could just like take your idea or whatever.
Yeah, but maybe by putting it on Twitter.
I think he even said something though. He's like, here's a freebie or something like that, like kind of in a condescending way. But like the guy is just a genius when it comes to
comic book stories,
paying reverence to these characters because he's a fan like us. He grew up with the original show, and he was all about not putting his personal stamp on these characters. He was all about just bringing the characters as we all knew them to the forefront and evolve them in the natural way that is entertaining or makes sense. So it's just an amazing, 10 episodes or 8 episodes, just not long enough, but just a fun jump back into the X-Men universe, a quintessential version of the X-Men universe. Returning voice actors like
I don't think you have to sell X-Men 97. I think it sells itself at this point.
It's just so good.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
So it's just so unfortunate that we won't be getting the show, the creative force behind that for the.
It'll be a very it'll probably feel like a different show, kind of.
But with Kevin Feige aware of the success of it and just the creative minds at Marvel, like hopefully they can just continue kind of what they set out to do with the first one, but. If it was all Beau, then we will probably be able to see through it in the second season. But
I mean, we'll see. I guess
they already said they're going to be changing a lot of the story points because of how the case was developing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I heard was
he said that he was
thrown out his story ideas.
Yeah. So initially, Beau was saying that they were gonna honor the second season and because he already did a lot of pre-written writing all this stuff already apparently because like even this season I think was 2 years in the making or 3 or something like that. So
I think everything takes too long to make. So
right. Except for some of these new movies, because you can't be spending $200 million on movies anymore. It needs to be under
that, and also you have all these production companies, and like these studios need to keep these people employed, so they have to be making movies. And I don't know how, like, I'm not sure why the TV world is different, but I will say that, you know, this trailer for Severance season 2 premiered today. It's not coming out until like next year still, and it'll be like 3.5 or something years since the first season by the time the second season comes out. And
that's fine.
That's too many. It's too many years. No, you're like on a Euphoria world thing.
Well, I haven't watched the first season, so to me, it's like, oh, now I have time to watch it if I really want to get into it, because I know.
Well, yeah, but like, don't you think 3 years is a bit excessive?
Yeah. It was like I said, like Dune 2. I'm like, what an amazing turnaround for that movie, because like most of the times you're waiting like many years.
Are you thinking Dune 3 now?
Well, even Dune 3, all of it, but Dune 1 to Dune 2 was only 2 years, I think.
Well, yeah, and the fact that Dune 2, they like committed to finishing it despite the first one coming out during COVID and making no money.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, so it's a miracle that we got it at all.
That. Yeah, I love that turnaround on that one, like jumping right back into it.
Well, the fact that it's like,
we're used to not jumping back into sequels that quick.
But also,
before that,
they also said that, he's going to take a break from Dune, and it might be years before we get Dune.
They course corrected on that because the second one was so successful.
They're like, hey, actually, why don't we do it right now?
And then he was almost bargaining too while he's promoting these movies about like what his idea is for the third one, and if he does do it, it needs to be this, and like, and it's like, then it's almost like, the studio's like, that's all good as long as 2 is successful.
Are you going to watch the show, the HBO show?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. It's interesting.
It's all about Denis.
It's just, well, fair enough. I mean,
please,
the thing
Denis,
is, we're going to get more Denis Villeneuve Dune stuff, and that's just like good for cinema, basically.
Yes.
But again, I would like to see what he could, like, after Dune. I would be excited to see what he did next, something new.
Yeah. That's like every director. It's like, what are you going to sink your teeth into next? What are you going to show us?
It's not like every director. I don't necessarily think that much about.
Well, not like I'm anticipating, but it's just no matter what. It's like, if you're going to do something new, it's just like, okay, well, what is this? Could this be interesting? Let's see. It's
right. That's true.
It's no matter what. It's a fascinating prospect. Anytime a director goes onto something new.
Why did he choose this thing?
Yeah.
Right. Like, why
did
Spielberg
within that you have within that you have your famous directors or really good directors where you're going to be paying close attention to that. What is Christopher Nolan doing next?
We just talked about Christopher Nolan's next movie, which is like completely untitled. There's all these rumors flying around about what it could be. But it's just like Christopher Nolan's untitled next film, which could be anything, is like the most exciting movie on the horizon, even though we know nothing about it, just because we know that Christopher Nolan makes epic movies, right? So, but I think there was a time when Spielberg was like that. I don't think that's the case.
Matt Damon is in it too. So it's Tom Holland and Matt Damon
as the main characters.
I believe so. And it's so funny because Matt Damon on his press tour for Oppenheimer was talking about the whole in counseling with his wife, right? Like a normal, just couples therapy, right? Like, why not? And they determined that he needed a break. But then he said the funny thing that he would say on the late night shows and all the interviews is that the one caveat that him and his wife agreed to is that if Christopher Nolan called, then he's answering that call and he's going to go do that project. And then
he's like, and then Christopher Nolan's like, challenge accepted.
And then he books him for his movie right after. It's amazing because Matt Damon is such an icon, funny. Right? Like, obviously, we can make fun of him and all that stuff, but like,
I think that's what makes him so. I think that's what I like about him so much is that like he kind of feels like
you can beat him up,
brilliant actor, but also like a joke at the same time. You know?
But then he always backs up with the brilliant acting. It's like, why is anyone even saying this shit? It makes no sense.
Yeah, because sometimes he does funny stuff that it's like, well, that like the movie was it Shrinking or whatever?
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's like, what an odd choice.
He looked like he was busy during that era. Like that's what led to the whole, my wife wants me to take a break. You know what I mean? Like he was just working. But then he did The Martian, which was a huge kind of boost for his
remember
career.
when he appeared at the end of Interstellar, right? And
which is his first
spoilers
time
for Interstellar, but it's like that was a big twist, and everyone was like, "Wow, this movie's great," but it's crazy because Matt Damon just shows up for no reason at the end.
Just so
and, like,
good though,
that was what people would say.
He just he makes you trust him, and then it's like, nope, he's a really bad guy.
Really bad guy. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dude, that movie's 10 years old, I think, this year.
What an amazing movie, though. Right? Like,
yeah, for sure. So for me, that might be my favorite kind of Nolan. Maybe probably not, but my favorite in between movies Nolan kind of era, like the conversation.
Oh yeah, because when he's like, I'm doing Batman and then this other thing.
The movie's called Interstellar. It's going to be Matthew McConaughey when he was in his
black holes or whatever. It's like, fuck yeah.
Well, just about it just said space travel. And then whatever on top of that. And then when the movie's unfolding, because it's so mysterious, then it has that crazy sci-fi elements to it.
Oh, don't even get me started with the score.
The time,
organs,
the bookcase. It's like, holy cow.
The homage to the constant attempt to feel as epic as 2001: A Space Odyssey gives it this he's shooting for Kubrick. He's like, here's shooting his shot. I feel like it's so bold. It's kind of dumb at parts of it, but it's still very good, and it's very long. I feel like it's not a movie you want to sit down and watch very often. It's a movie you have on your bookshelf because it's you respect it for being there, but you don't rewatch it very often. Not like you would Inception, which is super rewatchable of a movie. Even I say that as someone who doesn't even really rewatch movies at all. Anyway, I'm always like, what's the new thing or what's the other thing I haven't seen before?
That's fair. But then there's this wonder, I forget the guy's name, but he says, I think I've mentioned it before, but he treats movies like music, like whatever mood he's in or whatever, what genre am I going to listen to? Or maybe you have nostalgia for certain songs, and then you can when I was showing you songs that I was into. It does
feel a little artsy fartsy though, doesn't it?
To say that about movies?
Yeah.
I don't know, because certain movies give you certain feelings, so why not just tap into those feelings or that sense of comfort or whatever?
It's true.
But then it's almost and then I'm like, well, I already know what that feels like and I want to find a new one.
Yeah.
But then but I also agree with that, but then it's well, why would I just forget about this masterpiece that's Terminator 2? Which I think about on a daily basis. Right. When I'm at the park with my kid and there's a chain link fence and I see other people having a good time, I just think of
you're just thinking about T2.
Yeah, I'm thinking about a nuke being dropped on society and this is all.
Oh man, you should
no fate as she carves into the wood.
You watched what's it called on Amazon, Fallout, right?
No. I will watch it though.
You should. It's fucking good. But there's a scene very similar to that where the nukes fall.
But do you remember the iconic scenes in Terminator where she's at a fence or whatever and
yes, and it's flash of white,
and then the downtown buildings just get blown up, and then the shockwave reaches them, and then she's just a skeleton holding on to the chain link.
It's badass.
Yeah. And then and then in her future or the modern day self, when she's just a badass, she carves no fate, and then she just goes on her own to kill Miles Davis, the Root. She thinks but then she has a heart and can't do it.
It never goes quite according to plan, right? In Terminator, that's the whole vibe.
Yeah. Another nostalgic memory of that movie for me is that whenever it was always on TV, and it always go late into the night, and I could just never my bedtime, I just couldn't get by it. So there was years where it
you never saw past that 3/4 of the movie in,
and it was always the part where she wrote no fate, and gunned up at that whatever base, her friend's base or whatever. So
I have an ongoing argument with a friend of mine who believes that T1 is the superior of the Ts.
No,
right?
that is a more common talking point these
Do you think
days.
that's
I would say.
more people think that?
Yeah. No, I don't know if
Really?
more people think that. I think it's because they're both so different. So
Yes,
they're just
that's
different
true.
genres, essentially.
It's like
So,
Alien Aliens, is it your
yeah,
opinion?
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like almost more film snobbery to like pick the first one in a
You think so? You think
sense.
it's more pretentious to do that?
Yeah, because it's like clearly the second one is better, but
yeah,
then it's like
that's
I
obvious,
want to say
right?
that, but then it's like, well, let me say the points. It's like, but I understand the points for the other argument because it's a little bit more like tighter. It's a bit more
Well, it's more
suspenseful and
traditional of a film,
scary.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then that one had Tech Noir is the name of like the nightclub that like one of the shootings takes place.
sick.
So I don't know if it was like I don't know if where I saw it, but like people kind of refer to it as like instead of like film noir, it's tech noir, like what this
Mm,
Terminator movie is doing, what James Cameron's doing with the
mm. Yes,
story
the
and all
second
this
movie's not
stuff.
really like that.
No,
Yeah,
it's not at all. That is an action movie,
I
but
would
like
say
with
that
a
the
great story.
closest thing to the first Terminator that is in the Terminator world is the new Terminator Zero anime on
Mm,
Netflix, where
right.
it's like the Terminator is like ruthless and like there's lots of murdering.
Or the Sarah Connor
Yeah.
Chronicles TV show.
I only ever watched a couple episodes of that. I don't really
Mm.
remember much of it. Certainly not Terminator Salvation. Do you think that's
No,
the
that was
lowest of
good.
the? You think that's a good one?
Yeah, that
It
was
was
good.
Dark
That was a good
Fate. That's
time.
the bad one, right?
Um,
The more
you know
recent,
what?
like
There's
the
bits and
last one they
pieces.
did.
There's bits and pieces of all of them that are that they sometimes they just get it right, but then yeah, the overwhelming majority of it is wrong. Like even Terminator 3, like how crazy was the ending? Just get locked
Yeah,
into a bunker. It's like what the
yeah.
hell is this?
Well, and then it's
But
like,
that's
oh,
so
well, what a
fascinating.
bummer. It's like you think they're like trying to change the
Yeah.
fate or whatever,
But
right? But it's like,
we
no,
still
it's
don't
just
see the
still
John
Judgment Day.
Connor
Yeah,
that, we were teased in the second one,
it's true.
right?
He's still just like a
We
dweeb.
still don't
Yeah,
see that. And it's like, man, how cool is it that
yeah.
we're like, we still don't see him. This is still that kid that we saw robbing the ATMs or whatever, who was punkish, maybe
Mm-hmm.
he's a little bit older, but it's still that guy. And now he has all this massive pressure and weight on him. Well, all these people die. And then he has to rise from those ashes and figure out a strategy and plan to defeat these basically unbeatable machines. It's like what a cool story. And then we got the Salvation, I guess, is like a little bit of that, but maybe a
It's like
little bit too
that's
far
like it's
ahead.
supposed. It's the idea is like it's the sequel to that. It's like it's set
Mhm.
in the actual dystopian
Yeah, it's
future,
almost like
which
the
I think makes it
promise.
the less interesting one. It's like the dystopian future is there's barely any humans alive. Machines are murdering them all the time. It's dark and shitty out, and that's it. It's like I feel like it's a less interesting setting.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Than modern
But it
day.
was, yeah, but it was cool because it kind of went over like the pursuit for time travel, right? Like the race to it.
Yes,
And
right.
like that's why you get that Arnold cameo and like you see him being sent back. So I like that connective tissue of like, holy shit, we saw these first two movies so long ago, and then we're kind of seeing like where that story was supposed to be at before they arrived here.
Mm.
And you got
Yeah,
some
but
good
is
actors in
Christian
there.
Bale? You're like you feel Christian Bale embodies the the John Connor that you imagined. Is that important to you? I guess.
I guess like the leader commander version, but like it's not like an easy transition from like
Yeah,
the one or sorry, two and three,
that's true.
because three was a pretty cool choice on who the like the I don't know, I don't think I've seen that actor anywhere else. Or no, he was the yellow bastard guy, I think, in that that Bruce Willis Sin City. Was it Sin City? Yeah, Sin City.
Sin City. Yeah. Oh, really? That's a funny
Wasn't he that?
role.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, pretty sure.
Terminator 3 though, Rise of the Machines. Great subtitle. They all pretty much have
Correct.
great subtitles in
And
just
then
in general.
Rise took a little break, and then it came back in full force.
Nick Stahl, John Connor. Known for Sin City, Terminator 3, The Man Without a Face. from 1993 and In the Bedroom from 2001.
Yeah.
You're right. He hasn't been in anything else. I mean,
but again, like I said, memorable from 3 and just being an evolution or embodiment of of himself as a kid in T2 with a different actor. But then that actor went through so much crazy childhood acting, drug abuse, money problems. And then they use his likeness for one of those movies where they CGI recreated them.
Oh my God.
And he wasn't even a part of that or whatever.
Probably didn't see
and
a
like
cent.
He has podcasts where he's like just so down and out over like, cause like that's his whole identity. Like he like made John Connor like a thing. Like he's the first, like John Connor didn't exist in the first one because
the first adult version of him that you.
Kyle Reese was his dad. Like, and then that whole thing too, not knowing. You're right, like how like the insemination from
the whole
from someone from the future coming to the
but
past.
Have you?
And then they double down in Terminator 2, and they send the same Terminator back, but you got to think that like Christian Bale reprogrammed the Arnold Terminator and sent him back to protect young John Connor. It's like, and then that twist that when it plays out in the theater, when you think the cop is a good guy and Arnold is still the bad guy.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's yes.
And then Sarah Connor role reversing 2 into Kyle Reese.
It's brilliant. It's really brilliant.
Yeah,
it's brilliant creative work by James Cameron, no doubt.
And then the mental health nature of her and how she's just locked up in an insane asylum essentially for just speaking what she knows to be true, but is clearly like a fairy tale in how we would accept it in our world, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So here's the question. Have you seen Dark Fate and Genesis?
I've seen one of them. What's the one with the guy, the one guy who's in Oppenheimer who like does like all that crazy questioning? Because he's the main actor in one of those Terminator movies. Probably Genesis.
Jason Clarke?
Yeah, that's the guy, I think.
Yeah.
So he's in Genesis,
Connor. Right? Yeah, that's Genesis. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And Emilia Clarke is in that one too, or she's in the next one?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you have seen.
And then Arnold shows up in that one.
Yeah, well, it's the one it's crazy because you're seeing the events of T1 and T2, but from different perspective because they've traveled back to that same moment in time. So
but then the last one is the one where they recreated John Connor in CG as a young boy and killed him.
Is that true? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's like a weird scene. And even Sarah Connor, that actor.
Linda Hamilton?
Yes, Linda Hamilton, who also dated James Cameron.
Very badass in Dark Fate, directed by Tim Miller. But very forgettable of a movie. Like, she's obviously super cool in it, but I just like, it comes off as very like,
it's a new Terminator movie. Oh, yeah, and it was her too. Yeah, she came back.
Yeah. But then you get...
But they didn't bring back the kid who played John Connor.
No, they did not. No.
That's the one where they recreated him in CG. That's pretty brutal. Arnold, not a phone call from anyone, probably.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need him, they said. Don't call him. We don't want to get his hopes up. Yeah, but then Terminator Genesis, although not perfect, I think does like some cool stuff. Like, it's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Because that one was the real race for time travel, right?
Again, to me, it seems like this. So the story is when John Connor, leader of the human resistance, sends Sergeant Kyle Reese back in 1984 to protect Sarah Connor and safeguard the future. An unexpected turn of events creates a fractured timeline. So you see the events of the first and second movie, basically, playing out with these with this older version of Arnold. So he's like playing this like the T-800 from the original movie.
Yeah.
But he's now like, he's a carpet salesman as like a cover, right? And then you get this young Sarah Connor. It's interesting, but not great, unfortunately. So is the thing, I guess, from now is that James Cameron has the rights back to Terminator?
Yeah, that was like the latest kind of information.
And that was before Terminator 0 came out.
But then before that, though, I don't remember. Because before that, I think he said he found like a director who's really into it and has an idea and who's going to support that or something. I don't know.
Well,
But anyways, we should probably wrap.
Yeah, we should probably wrap. Okay.
Random.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening today. As always, follow us on Twitter at Tower Babblecast, Facebook.com/Tower Babblecast, and head over to our website, towerofbabble.ca, to find everything we do. We are still planning to record the Lost Boys Film Club, the Halloween episode. So that should be out. We're hoping to record this weekend. So look for that. I'm traveling to Costa Rica starting tomorrow. Today, by the time you're listening to this, if I assume time works weird that way, but I'm hoping to record from there on the weekend to get that out. Lost Boys, really liked it, by the way, Jeremy. I know you said you fell asleep, but that's probably just because you're tired. Because it's not like a sleepy movie, in my opinion. Just a little weird. So we'll talk about that. That's at the Patreon, exclusive to patrons. Patreon.com/Tower Babblecast. $5 a month, you get access to those and all of our past ones. So again, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you again very soon.